Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mostly Off Topic Plays Laughter of Dragons. As usual, I am joined by the crew. Say hi, Ben.
Hi, Ben.
Say hi, Joe.
Hey.
Say hi, Matt.
Hello, Joe.
So it's been a little while. Player illness, fortuitously, not the big COVID. Then holidays and scheduling and all that kind of jazz. But anyway, we're back now, and I've introduced everybody, so I can put a tick in that checkbox. Usual stuff. We are playing Laughter of Dragons. We are playing it basically left to right. We're just going through the book progressively. We are sticking fairly close to the printed story. And also, there's always...
Guy, whoever's seeing this, make sure you subscribe to my channel. It's Ken's the Booster.
That was live, Kenny. Live.
Bye. They literally saw that, didn't they?
So like advertised bombing now.
Hijack. Yeah.
See ya.
Is he paying to get that content on your?
I don't think
that's
so.
it.
I don't
That's
think
it.
so.
You should charge him 4 chocolates, at least.
Oh, well, at least he's a smooth operator, if nothing else.
He's better at advertising his channel than we are.
Yeah, frankly, there's more advertisements from Kenny's channel than there is for ours. So, as I was saying, we are playing Laughter of Dragons. So, spoilers for Laughter of Dragons. We do stick fairly tight. I do stick fairly tight to the book, to be perfectly honest. So, if you're in a Laughter of Dragons campaign, or if your Lore Master is likely to take you to Erebor and maybe fold in some of the adventures within that book, then please do be aware that we will be spoiling it for you by and large. I have to include it all because I don't have masses of time, and I include even the bits that I think are a bit crap, frankly. But there we go. And the stream will get interrupted when Kenny, my son, chooses to come in and advertise his own YouTube channel, which is Ken's the Booster. If anybody wants to know how a 9-year-old plays Minecraft, then you can subscribe to that. If you're watching the stream and you get a picture of Erebor up, that's most likely that Kenny is interrupted or we're just taking a break. And if there's any point, if you're watching this on YouTube, where I suddenly stop and then there's a really bad edit and then it starts up again, that's when Kenny's coming. And also, just generally, thank you to everybody for your continued views, the comments that you leave in, the real positivity that we're hearing. We're hoping this actual play is helpful to people who are wanting to actually play. I kind of don't know how good we are at playing the One Ring according to the rules of the One Ring, if I'm honest. I think we're probably all right. But we play the game because we play the game, not because we're trying to showcase anything. And we're just trying to enjoy ourselves, essentially. Who knows who we're going to offend this session. So...
Depends which accents come out.
Hobbits.
Yes. Okay, so I'm hoping that everybody kind of knows the characters by now. This is episode 9, I think, which is our 5th session. I'm fairly sure that is true. So a bit of a recap. Reminds what happened. Orcs in Dale. There have been orcs in Dale. Hobbits corrupted by evil and an attempt to steal a magical artifact in the shape of the ring that Kelda had. The orcs that you encountered were of the military caste. They combined savagery and training, and they weren't your common or garden orc. But all of that was last summer, and since then the companions, you've become a bit more settled in Dale, building relationships, settling into routines. There are some frictions. There are frictions between those beneath and those without the mountain. Loftar has been getting a feel for the tensions amongst the dwarves when he went to visit the Toymaker last time. There's a little bit of tense, awkward situations there. And after a foray out in the spring, you guys encountered Balin, son of Fundin, who was injured and shaken. There was a longboat that you saw just previous to that with a particularly stylized eye on its prow, and it turns out that boat is of Dorwinian design. Not necessarily from Dorwin, but of the kind of boats that they use out in the marshes and in that wine-producing joint. Upon returning to Dale, Balin had told you that bad news was coming, and that you should seek out his friend Thrun when you hear it. You had then gone a bit, become very active in your investigation to see what might be happening, what had caused the attack on Balin. Decided to find out about the boat, and you sought out Howard, Reeve of the Keys, down at his drinking spot in the Fat Bottomed Ladies at the side of the two barges. I realise in retrospect that's not necessarily a name in keeping with with Tolkien's Middle-earth, but it is what it is.
It's more kind of ACDC, isn't it?
It's a little.
But let's go with it.
We have in fact gone with it.
Queen.
You had learned that the boat had been docked, and the crew from the boat had met with a servant of Lord of the Dale, and Holwood had spotted a red livery beneath the servant's hooded coat. I think that's kind of where we left it last. So that's just a bit of a recap.
That's useful, thanks, Paul, because I was completely coming up blank when I was
I've
trying
forgotten all of that.
I'm glad we record it, because I can kind of go back.
Oh, yeah, Balin.
Oh, that's the point. Yeah, we could just watch back.
Balin, of course. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got cloaks in red livery.
Let me get my notebook. This will do as a notebook.
Umbar. Lord of Bashrock or something.
Yes. So the word you did think about who it is that you kind of like knew that could be, and you came up with some names. Brini, Lord of Strandberg, maybe.
Yep, I got that.
Gunvar, Lord of Ashbrook.
Brini makes more sense than Birdie, so yep.
It does the birdie dance, known for it. And possibly Thane, Oscar, and Noble of Dale.
I don't have him.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
It depends. I hadn't quite prepped that section, so it depends how quick I was able to read. And I was absolutely shattered last time we played, as I recall.
To be fair, I could have equally just have not written it down.
Yeah.
My note taking is not the best.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. It's not the best. It's not the best.
No.
Better than all the rest. Better than everybody. Anyway, right then. So, more flavourful entry into the episode. Rebuilt Dale is a city that sits at the heart of a kingdom that has yet to expand to the edge of its borders. The northern Dalelands spread upwards to the foothills of the Grey Mountains to the north of Dale and are well tamed and well settled by now. Their maturity is marked by battles being fought at the king's court rather than in a muddy field, arguments between tenants and landowners, or squabbling sons and daughters contesting a legacy. Towards their northern edge, they are threatened by the shadow of the two eastern arms of the Grey Mountains. Between those two arms, there's the plateau of the Withered Heath, the breeding ground of dragons. Directly to the east of Dale, the Upper Marchers that spread across to the Iron Hills are less well settled. More frontier lands, and here the king continues to offer parcels of land to newcomers to Dale, alongside land that has already been settled on nobility that perhaps were not successful in claiming lands in the northern Dale lands. The Nether Marchers are south and east of the Upper Marchers, south and east of the city of Dale. They nestle between the Ruining River and the Redwater, and they're largely untamed. The king and his councillors claiming their area in name more than deed. The waste is off to the far northeast, a blasted land, long tainted by dire creatures. It's barely even claimed as part of the reborn kingdom. Famous Moor has been the last resting place of the final master of Esgaroth, as well as the fierce nature of the creatures that reside there. And yet, despite all of this stability within Dale itself, you found orc work within the city's walls. And less than a day to the south, Balin, son of Fundin, was attacked by raiders aboard a Dorwinian-style boat. Balin has promised darker tidings are yet to come. In the moments as you awake, you can't help but ask yourselves, what can all of this be about? So it's the day after you did the investigations, which ended quite late at night. Is there anything that you kind of particularly want to be doing in the next couple of days or so? What is the plan of action?
Well, last time we wanted to earn Balin's trust. I think that was our objective, and we kind of made a bit of progress towards that. So I guess now we want to look a bit deeper into the kind of the boat from Dorwinian and the emerging threat.
We
Sound
paid
about
the
right?
harbour master guy, didn't we, to let us know the next time they turned up?
Right.
Because I know we lobbed him some coin for that, for his time and for that. Is it worth going and find out what these darker tidings are to come? Think he'll see us?
Oh, so
Or
when
can we...
when he told you that he did say, I'm just messing around with my lighting. He did say that when it's actually better with that side light on. When darker tidings come, for you to seek out his friend Thrun.
Is it worth letting him know how far we've got with the boat people? Letting Balin know, I mean. And seeing if any of the names, if he's got a beef with any of them.
Yeah,
we could try that. Yeah.
So let's frame the session objective.
Sure.
What is it that you want to be achieving in this session? Within the boundaries of what you know about the world and the adventure as it stands.
Do we want to advance our good faith a bit more?
I think we want to try to gain an audience with Balin and tell him what we know and seek his help in.
He might, yeah, because he could possibly narrow down that list of the liveried.
Yeah, and from there, we then want to start to investigate the actual kind of, well, the people that we think are behind the threat.
Yeah,
So
basically go burn down a royal like a noble house.
Oh yeah, that's clear.
Yeah, that's generally how it ends up with us lot.
So the objective is to gain further audience with Balin to kind of establish more of his faith in you, and to then gain further information about the boat and who could be the perpetrators behind that. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yep.
And the fellowship pool has refreshed, so I think that you have 4 fellowship points because of Loftar's virtue.
Unending fury.
Yep. That is correct.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. His virtue, which is what? Be a hobbit.
Sworn allegiance.
Sworn allegiance, of course.
To the hobbits.
Yes. Hobbit.
No, I think we know which character swore allegiance to a hobbit, and look how that turned out.
Oh yeah, of course. Oh, and last maybe not the last episode on YouTube, but certainly last session we asked for suggestions for your companionship name. We got some feedback.
The company name,
Yeah, so company name. We got some, the Needle Pricks. Is
I do quite like
or
that.
the Pricks Needle. I can't quite remember. I'll have to find out.
The needle pricks sounds right.
Which,
it's got so many meanings. It's multifaceted.
Yeah. Okay.
It is layered. Yeah.
So you've woken in your rooms in the Golden Sheaf, where you're staying, and you kind of start to gather in the common room, it's not unusual that the common room is is quiet in the morning as guests come down at various points of time. But this is a morning of the toy market, and normally that's fairly busy, or at least more busy than it is at the moment. And there's a sense of lethargy and an ennui a little bit that's kind of hanging over some of the individuals. As Margaret comes to kind of place the food in front of you, she does so very delicately, quite quiet, almost a little bit tiptoe over. Puts a good mornings to you, sirs, and kind of immediately starts waiting.
Heavy night on the sauce.
Not really, sir. Not really, sir.
What's the problem then?
There's
Under the weather? Need to see the doctor?
Yes, I maybe something like that.
Seems to be catchy.
Yes. And Gareth kind of like is just kind of glancing over
Is-
you
is-
in the bar.
Is there anything we can help with, Margaret? You've been so kind to us during our stay.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You were very welcome to have you safe and secure. To have you in our walls as guests. Margaret, there's work for you in the kitchen. Gareth says. Oh, yes, Gareth, yes. And she kind of.
She's ill. Be nice to her.
Aye, sir, aye. I will.
And don't let her prepare any food if she's ill.
That's newfangled
end
dwarf
well.
knowledge.
Well, that was
Guess,
weird.
Torg will sort of sidle up to the bar and nod in the direction that Margaret's gone, addressing Garth. Is everything okay with Margaret? She seems perturbed.
She's fine, my lord. She's fine.
I see. Well then, if everything's fine, we'll carry on about our day.
Yes. I think that's a good thing. Any particular business that you have today, good sirs? The toy market, perhaps. That should be a good place, a cheerful place, I would imagine, perhaps.
Oh, the toy market. That does sound fun. What do you say, Cirque, Loftar? Shall we go and look at some toys?
I'm a bit old for them myself. But sure. This is strange. I gotta get away from these ill people.
You head out. You're not that far from the market square. It's an overcast day, possibly threatening rain later. And whatever strangeness there was in the golden sheaf is replicated a little out in the streets of Dale. The voice of the hawkers normally would be, "Get your buns here! Sausage in a bun! Burger on a stick! Hot chestnuts!" They're very subdued. It's got to be more like burgers, sausage, meat on a stick.
Is it just at us in our presence? Or is it just in
When
general?
you kind of and as you start to move, clusters of people that are like gossiping quieten down as you kind of come past.
Search checking for a note on his back.
Make me an awareness roll. You find nothing. But as you're looking around, there's a larger presence of armed guards. There's a couple of armed guards on the corner of the street.
Are the armed guards following us?
No, not especially, but they do kind of like pay attention to you as you kind of come through. Are any of you bearing arms and armor out of interest?
I
I
might
mean, not bearing as in kind of bearing down with them, but yeah,
I'm
Torg has
armed.
his mattock about his waist.
Yeah. Okay. Are you in your
Yeah.
full armor? Loftar?
Yeah, it's a bit, it's a bit chilly day. You never know when orcs might pop up.
It's a bit chilly. Metal keeps me warm. Cuts out that wind chill.
So as you do kind of like past the city guard, they do pay quite close attention to you. Not like in your faces. There's no stopping.
Morning.
Morning, Master Dwarf.
Yeah, let's kind of doff caps. I'll encourage the group to kind of politely, maybe even a slight bow, a small bow in their direction, just to offer some respect towards them.
All right, pal.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning,
Dwarf.
brave guard.
Good job.
Is there is something happening today? Seems unusually quiet, yet.
Make an insight check for me.
Thank you. 3 dice. For 13, 20. Nothing extraordinary or great about it.
Lots of other people are kind of like watching this exchange. They've stopped what they're doing. There's a guy rolling a barrel of ale to kind of get into the cellar of one of the taverns. Who should probably be handing it to his mate down, and he's kind of like stopped, like watching you. Gudrun, she's kind of like stopped halfway through, kind of like banging some clothes against a rock. Or whatever, and you can see the guard kind of shifts his weight from one foot to the other and looks across at his mate, who takes the most small kind of like pace backwards. This is you've put them into a situation that they would have preferred not to have been in, definitely. And he's trying to read you as you're reading him, in a kind of like, do you know what I know? Kind of way.
I know what you know that you don't know.
Okay.
There's a little bit of that going on. He goes, well, it's the toy market, my lord.
Oh, of course. So, Torg's kind of trying to puff out his chest and stretch himself up to his tallest here. Oh, of course, the toy market. Yes, of course. I know that, being a lord of the mountain. Many dwarves come for the toy market to sell their wares.
Lord of the mountain, you say? And he's kind of looking across at his mate in a kind of like, help me out here, you fuckhead kind of way. You've got to. You possibly aren't aware of the grave news. You.
What's gone on? What news?
Lord Balin was stabbed to death last night.
Oh, fuck.
Dun dun dun.
Where did that sound come from? His mate's like, geez, that sounded like the plot thickening.
There goes our objective out the window for today.
Bloody bastards.
Aye.
We'll never get an advancement point now.
That's a to-do list, gone. But at least it frees up your afternoon. At least it frees up your afternoon.
Lord Balin. Lord Balin is dead.
Quieten, please. We're trying not to cause panic amongst the townspeople.
It's like they all know.
Do we know where Lord Balin lives? Do we know where his house is?
You'll know that where his normal residence is. Yes. Off in the residential quarter, Raven's Quarter. I can't recall exactly. I'll have a look at my notes. He was stabbed to death on the streets of the old quarter late last night.
Perhaps we can look
on
around.
The streets. Whoa! Why would he have been on the streets late at night by himself?
Especially after he'd been beaten up by those guys near the river. You'd have thought he'd have just gone home.
We do not know. We normally we would not share news or gossip of this nature, but I just didn't want you to perhaps. I think it was appropriate for you to know, given you're Lord of the under the mountain.
No, of course, and your the way you've approached this delicate matter is appreciated, of course.
Relief,
and your
relief on his. I'm so glad that you understand, my lord.
No, of course, it's a difficult position you're in, and you are investigating the matter with some urgency, I expect.
The watchers, absolutely. We're not. We're on just crowd control today.
Well, I think we should make our way to the toy market then.
Yeah,
fellows.
yeah. Let's go there.
Are we not going to investigate?
No. We should just go to the toy market, I think.
Oh, okay.
I want to buy a
that's
toy.
right, Cirque. We're going to the toy market.
Yes, you said.
Yes.
I'm quite surprised, but okay.
No, because we're trusting humans and the guards in carrying out their duties to the fullest. So we don't.
It doesn't sound like us.
No, the watch have their duty to perform. We're better off out of their way and amusing ourselves at the toy market.
Yeah.
We do have work, and we bid you good day in the toy market. So that they kind of move further.
Do you really
down.
want some toys? You got some children you haven't told us about?
Just one last thing, guardsman. Which way is the toy market? I've forgotten. I'm so perturbed by the...
Takes over the market square. Just follow this road. In fact, you can see the stalls.
Oh, there they are
now. Though there is quite a pall cast upon it. It is not as frivolous a day.
Well, that'll be because of the death.
Yes, Master Dwarf.
Come, sir. Let us leave the guards to their noble duty and
must not disturb them. Yes.
Farewell.
Good job.
Good day, gentlemen.
And you head forward into the market square. So the streets of Dale have different coloured cobbles, the main streets that run through. So there's the River Street, which is blue, and there's red and the white street. Come around the residential quarter and through the old quarter and so on. And they all meet in the market square and they lay out where the normal stalls are. So there's normal hustle and bustle of a country market, essentially. Lots of staples being sold, lots of foodstuffs, lots of trinketry, clothes, that kind of thing. But on the first Monday of every month, it's given over to the toy market. And the toys aren't children's playthings so much as they're wondrous machines or kind of like fantastical creations.
Adult toys.
Yeah, there's a mixture, really. But anything that you would consider to be kind of like a wondrous thing. So I guess there's a certain level of kind of your classic spinning tops but well made kind of things, through to I guess the modern equivalent would be like kind of geek stuff like drones or cool gadgetry in that way. and it is a form of dwarven smithing, and intricacy and the creation of mechanical or clockwork artifacts that you can't help but take a level of those of you that are smiths, certainly you will have an opinion on this, whether that opinion is it's misplaced effort, whether your opinion is it's technically very capable stuff. It's very fine, very intricate, and it's a relatively new activity that's spilled out from Erebor. It's not new in that it didn't happen prior to the desolation of Smaug, but it's certainly not a tradition that the dwarves have going back to the time of the Longbeards and what have you. And you move into the market square. There are the food staples people still have to eat. There's a lot less of those than normal, and they tend to be selling the pastries and the pasties as you start to eat through the last of the stored squashes from the winter prior to the spring crops coming in. And very many of the stalls are dwarven stalls, but there's a generally subdued thing, and as you kind of come in and as you move through pockets of people, everybody just kind of stops and turns their head downwards and kind of try move out your path. They'll move across to the other side to kind of let you come through, and you can see that this is a common behaviour wherever there are small pockets of dwarves. A lot of the managed folk are just giving a level of respect in their minds.
I thought they thought we did it.
That may well be something that they think as well. It's quite hard for you to assess.
Very hard for Cirque to assess.
I have an idea. Why don't we, in a bit, go and see Balin's house? Just thought.
Well, we were doing that anyway, but he's dead, so what's the point?
To sniff around.
He wasn't stabbed in his house.
He was murdered on the streets of the old quarter.
As you guys are having this conversation, other people are in fact starting to move more obviously away from you.
Very peculiar.
Bits of Cake has just pointed out this sounds like the job for Loftar, PI.
Yeah.
There's just one more thing.
The spin-off everyone's waiting for.
I don't think they need to wait any longer.
I just think we can go and have a look. It's not going to.
It's better than looking at toys.
Yeah,
I don't know why you wanted to come here anyway.
Torg was kind of trying to be nonchalant as he breezes past the trinkets in the toy market, and I think he is probably internally he is reeling from the news of Balin's death. So he, being a willful dwarf, he will be keen to kind of make haste to the old quarter, I think, to see what they can learn.
Okay, so as you kind of had this conversation, people have started to back away from you. You were starting to get a little bit louder, a little bit agitated, a little bit edgy with it, and you are armed, and you are dwarves, and there's a level of consternation there. So you kind of head down, like striding through with purpose. One of the stalls has quite a crowd around it. There are adults there laughing quite heartily, quite amused by what the dwarf artificer has presented. Children are giggling kind of with glee, and there's a lively dwarf demonstrating there, various wooden boxes that open in a different way depending upon where you tap them. And on his other hand, he has a small series of interlocked rings that move around each other in almost a flowing dance, kind of like how the shaman do that. And then there are two older looking dwarves, kind of darkish clothing, hoods up very slightly, rough skin on their hands. A toy dragon! How dare you! In such bad taste! One of the companions that fought the dragon lies dead, and you make it a creature of wonder! And you can see that the small, intricate dragon that's kind of like writhing around this other dwarf's fingers, kind of like metalwork clicking and clacketing. You all of you should be ashamed of yourselves, wasting your time on such trifling matters. Toys and trinkets. Only a few years ago you would have been the laughingstock of any dwarf who ever set foot in a forge. Do you think it is of any value the praise you are getting from men? An orc is better at smithing than any man. And the crowd's like, not a fucking chance are we staying around for this. And they'll start
Torg, do you know those guys?
To pull
They
back.
sound like your people.
Loftar, you recognise the accent from the hills.
Is that my fellow that visited Gimir?
You recognise one of them is indeed the same person. Look at what you've done now!
I just approach, sort of, just move that direction slowly.
So you hear the younger dwarf, the storekeeper. Look at what you've done now! All my clients gone. A plague on miners and their stiff necks. The other two go, "How dare you!" And start to kind of like move in with there's a bit of pushing and shoving.
Hey, lads, come on. I'm trying to, in a not very organised way, trying just to sort of calm things down a little bit.
Okay, how do you want to do that?
Let's have a look.
Badly.
From the things that I have, I'm just going to go with something on the lines of awe. So, hey, guys, come on, cut it out, yeah.
Okay.
Oh shit! It's Loftar,
not
the PI.
It's not the time and place for this. Surely, we don't need to be arguing about this. Sorry.
Hit me up with an ore roll.
Oh man, this is going
Awesome.
I know it's not bad. I thought it was 6. It's a 9, so it makes it 10.
10.
I'm spending a point of hope. I'm feeling lucky. Point of hope, please.
Fellowship hope.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure. If it's available, I'll spend one of those.
Yeah, okay, so well, technically you spend a point of hope and then you refresh it from the fellowship pool. Okay.
That will make it 17.
17.
Mm-hmm.
So you manage to get in there, and they recognise your metal hauberk, your armour. They recognise your accent, and they recognise the kind of slightly insane glint in your eye. And then they kind of like back away. They're bristling. They're bristling with anger. Today we cannot rival the metalwork of our fathers already. At this pace, the secrets of our masters will be lost at the turn of a generation. And all this only for the sake of the golden men of Dale. Gold that was ours in the first place.
I know. But there's a time and a place for that. That's all I'm saying, man.
Sounds like you need to spend less time shouting and more time practicing.
And who are you?
My friend said, yeah. Meet my
You don't even have a beard, and you don't have the muscles of a smith.
You don't have the brains of one from the sounds of it.
Well, you're lucky. You're lucky that we're respecting our dead for, Balin. Otherwise, I'd have your brains and I'd scatter them with my hammer.
Yeah.
We don't need this here. Not in.
He doesn't. He couldn't hit the broadside of an anvil.
How dare you talk about an anvil? You couldn't even lift an anvil.
But you're not meant to. You're meant to lift a hammer. If you're lifting the anvil, you're doing it wrong. No wonder your skills are not there.
Our skills are here. It's their skills that aren't there. Wasteful.
That looks kind of intricate.
They use all of the precious metals. They monopolise those metals. It's wasteful. It produces nothing of practical value. They don't honour the smithing traditions. Their forges don't need to be as hot, nor their arms are strong. Their tools are strange, and what's more, they're corrupting the young. They're turning the heads of younger dwarves. They're pulling smiths away from the traditional purpose of dwarven smithing. We've had enough of that!
These guys are single issue voters, aren't they? Wow. I'm not entirely sure we're diffusing this situation right now.
I did say we were
meant to be.
I did say we weren't going to politicise the stream, and here we are.
Yeah.
Pure coincidence.
I'm just saying that there's time and the place for this kind of thing. I'm not disagreeing with you at all.
I am. They're wrong.
But still.
Apparently, this is the time and the place.
Yeah, but we've lost a fellow dwarf, a noble one, and there's better time. So we can spend that time looking for solutions and trying to solve this rather than just squabbling like old dwarfs. We still have other things to do. So
they're still respectful towards you, Loftar, even though you do have Cirque as a companion.
I don't. That's right. Because I don't want to sort of contradict him in any way. So I'm not really
narrow-minded, backsided, blindsided fools.
Well, they're not really paying attention to your arguments, in fairness, Loftar. They're more paying attention to the fact that you've got quite a bit of presence there, and they don't really feel that they want to entangle themselves with you. So your role isn't a subtle, let me have this debate with you. It's like, I'm here, what the fuck are you doing, boys? So they're aware. You can see that they really want to respond to Cirque, and that he's pushing their buttons quite a bit. You can see veins starting to throb, and then they're really thick forearms, and like what I have, which are basically choir boy's arms. They're kind of like all the veins are standing out. One of them's reaching for its hammer.
Go on.
How about we go and settle this over a cup or a pint of ale?
We're not going to be drinking with you, but you've got a good idea. We've had enough of this. We've said our piece, and they kind of back away.
Yeah.
Nothing
to back it up.
And
I'm at the Golden Sheaf if you want to carry this debate on.
Come on.
So
it's not necessary.
Torg is itching to intervene here.
I've been dealing with idiots like that my whole life. All of them. Every time.
I'm going to try and push back out of the way.
Just because you don't want to do something the way they want to do it means you're wrong and strange.
You are pushing them away, and Cirque is doing exactly what Cirque's doing.
Look at the intricate archway over there on that coach house, sir.
It's exactly the fact I noticed the intricate things that people like that have picked on me my whole life.
Look,
let him try.
You must have a closer look. And look, stained glass on the upper floor there.
That's a child, Torg.
However, it is pretty good stained glass, and you haven't seen it at this angle of the sun at this point of the year.
Fine.
I'm just saying.
I'm going to go kill them at some point.
I want to. Is the the stall holder is a dwarf as well?
He is, yes. And he's kind of it's exasperated. He was making reasonably good trade, and this whole thing has driven the people away.
I want to buy the dragon.
Gimir and his friend. So obviously, I know Gimir.
Mm-hmm.
Having spent some time with him before I.
So you see this guy around. He's kind of like part of Gimir's peer group. Gimir's. Well, certainly, I think Gimir's possibly expressed some concerns to you that he feels like he's getting left behind a little bit in terms of his skills and whatnot. And this individual is one of the top toy makers. You don't really know his name though, but he recognizes you and you know him to nod to.
Okay, so I want to approach it in a kind of fairly polite way, so expressing my respect for his art and I absolutely agree with you that that we need to keep these traditions alive and use the dwarven arts and culture.
Yeah. Okay. So let's have a courtesy roll.
Their fullest. Okay, that's going to go badly.
Oh, okay.
I say 5. Yeah, I'll just take that.
Yeah. Okay. So you're saying these things, and you are being respectful and such like. he's not really listening that much. And
But
oh, sorry.
So basically, what I want to get onto is the subject of Balin straight away. So I want to say, we need to put these things aside because the Lord Balin was murdered in the street last night, and we can't leave the investigation of that crime to the men of Dale, knowing what we know, that some of them are in league with the Shadow or with dark forces.
As soon as you mention
we
Balin,
must put aside our petty squabbles. Yep.
Yeah. As soon as you mention Balin, you kind of get a definite response. Yes, he was. I spoke with him many times. I would regard him as a friend. Everybody make insight rolls.
Insight.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's more like it for me.
2. Okay.
3 dice.
The stained glass is really good. The way in which it catches the morning light at this
angle. It's in sight of me.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it.
As the sun comes across the hill, rises from the shoulder of the mountain. A lot of this is in shadow for most of the day, but it's spring and it's got a lovely reflection. So you said a Gandalf there, Loftar. Torg, sorry.
I got a Gandalf, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And Loftar?
I've got 3.
Okay. So you're still possibly weighing up whether you should throw your throwing axe at these guys or not.
Throw it. Throw it at the back of his head.
I haven't crossed my mind.
Everything that Torg. So everything that this dwarf says is absolutely right. As you would expect, there's just a little bit of depth of emotion missing, and he's trying to fake it a little. Do you think? So he says, Balin, yes, such a sad thing. He was my friend. I spoke on many occasions with him. His passing is such a tragedy, and I just get a feel that he's saying these words, but that there's just something else there, perhaps.
Okay.
How well have you known Balin then?
I'll kind of, I'd like to just press him on the last couple of days and the fact that Balin was attacked.
Yes.
And then last night murdered in the streets. And maybe there's a connection between these 2 events. It seems so strange.
I agree, and I think you're right that this does definitely need to be investigated, but perhaps we should leave it to the authorities, and perhaps though we should reach out to King Dain to ensure that there is some dwarven oversight to the investigation. For while the murder did take place in King Bard's land, it shouldn't be something that we need to. We as a dwarven people need to be satisfied that one of our heroes, the investigation has been undertaken properly. But if we just go off and do that on our own stead, then it may be that we disrupt the investigations more than we help them.
And you think the watch will do a thorough job and find the killer?
I have
quickly.
I think that they will be putting all of their resources into doing that, and I think that it would be wiser for us to let them go ahead, and perhaps if they have not established the cause in a little while, or have no solid leads, then perhaps at that point it is the time for adventurers such as us. If there's one thing that I've such as yourselves, if there's one thing I've learned in through the course of my my career making these quite complex, intricate forgings, then it is that we sometimes need patience, and that it's only towards the end of time that the solution emerges, not just in the first hit of a hammer against metal.
This is interesting. So speaking out of character, I'm getting strange vibes from this guy who previously was incredibly upset at Balin, or at the dragon, the mechanical dragon, and that kind of being disrespectful to the
So, right, so you're talking to the stall holder. So you're talking to the stall holder. The people who were upset about the dragon was the two dwarven smiths.
Okay, sorry, I thought I was talking to the other.
Oh, so you want to talk to the two dwarven smiths?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I had.
I did want to.
Are these the guys from Iron Hills?
Yeah. So you want to talk to the guys from Iron Hills?
Okay.
Sorry, I had completely misunderstood that. Then.
That's all right.
So you're currently talking to the stall holder.
We've got that from the stall holder.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. So that puts a slightly different spin on it. Okay. Well, I think maybe that's less mysterious then.
Yeah, sorry. I had completely misunderstood who it was that you wanted to talk to.
That's all right. Maybe we can switch our attention to Gimir's companion then. Is he still there?
Okay, so the stall holder is Gimir's companion.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I could chase the Iron Hill. I mean, have they left the Iron Hill guys?
They have strode away, though, because I'd misunderstood what you wanted to do. You will have an opportunity to catch them if you want to talk to them, because that would have been you'd been able to do that before they left, kind of thing.
So at some point, I'll probably want to sort of follow up them just to tie up that loose end.
Look, I've got to sort my stall out
afterwards. Yeah.
The stall holder says, I've lost the trade. What a waste of a bloody day this is. It's gone from the worst to worse, and he starts to gather up his kind of like things and such like.
Before he goes, I want to buy the dragon.
Oh, it would be. It's very expensive.
I'm deemed as prosperous.
Yes, you would need to be. You would need to have a number of treasures or gems that perhaps you could exchange for.
No, we have 0 treasure yet, don't we?
Yeah, you don't have anything.
Oh, never mind then. And all right, then in that case, I'll just tell him, ignore those thick-headed idiots. You do what makes you happy.
A very progressive view.
Yes, I've been for years ridiculed for my interests. Oh, now you need to go fight. Now you need to kill orcs. Now you need to kind of be a miner or beat metal until it looks flat. Where's the point in that? Do what makes you happy and sod the rest of them.
Okay. Yes. I think I will go and beat metal until it goes flat to work through my issues too. He appreciates that. So Loftar and Torg, you're heading off.
There's no way I'm following off to talk to those other two.
Possibly for the best. And you kind of catch up to them as they're chuntering away to themselves. They kind of give you a steady stare back, quite a hostile stare as well, even towards you, Loftar. They're
come on, guys, no hard feelings. Have you met my my mate here? Why don't we just talk like dwarfs, amongst ourselves? So I introduce, obviously, my companion, and just trying to to let him do the talking, because obviously I can maybe talk someone into submission, but nothing beyond that.
Into submission.
I am Bamur.
They're using
Uh,
Matic, obviously.
And the other one,
I
I am Hokul.
Mer,
Bamur. And Hokul.
Bamur and Okul.
And let's have insight rolls for the preliminary rolls of this combat.
Okay. Oh, okay. Aye, oh no. 6, 9, 10.
10.
Meh. Oh well.
And,
I've got 7, so that's not going anywhere. I think.
okay. So you learned the very obvious thing that these are incredibly worked up, incredibly agitated Iron Hills miners, and that they've got some form of axe to grind, focused upon the points that they were aggressively making. They're still in a huff. So what's the approach, guys? How do you want to do this?
Yeah, so it's almost like a repeat of the previous conversation, really. Torg wants to broach the subject of Balin's death.
Yeah.
So he's going to sort of empathise with them, and also try and be a calming influence. So yeah, I'm gonna say, you know, today is a bleak day for the dwarves of Dale, and you were. Yeah, I feel your pain and anger, but we must now. We plan to act quickly to find the killers of Lord Balin, and maybe even avenge him. So yeah,
And how are you pitching? How are you pitching this? Is this like a courtesy? Is this an or? Maybe it's probably not riddle, given how explicit you were about what you're trying to do.
I'm leaning towards the inspire, really, because I'm trying to impress upon them the importance of dwarves working together.
Yeah. Okay. So
maybe Torg's kind of drawing on some of his xenophobia of taller races as well.
Yeah, well, you can talk.
Yeah,
you talk authentically about that because actually you're not a big fan of them. Okay, so when you say the dwarves of Dale, one of them says there are no dwarves of Dale. So that kind of like makes it harder. But you could invoke Smithcraft with this role as well, because they both are smiths and they would respect that kind of thing. So you can weave in some smithing analogies and that kind of stuff if you wanted to take the if you wanted to take the auto pass.
Okay. I'm going to take a shot at just a straight up inspire roll.
Yep. Okay. That's it.
I've got 3 dots. So let's see. That looks better. I've got 6, 2 5s, and a Gandalf.
Wow. Okay, that's out of the park.
So that's a great success.
Yes. Okay.
That'll be an AP.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, Torg's kind of talking in reverent terms about Balin, and having only just met him in the last day, but having been impressed by his presence, and in fact today we planned to visit with Lord Balin, and seek his advice in investigating further into nefarious deeds that were made against him.
What nefarious deeds?
Well, only yesterday there was an attack on his life. There was an attempt made on his life. He was attacked in broad daylight on his way returning to Dale.
By whom?
And that's where we met him. As yet we don't know. We're unsure, and that's what we want to find out. For I believe the two events must be connected.
Perhaps it would seem logical, I suppose, but I can see, as you say, you have only met Balin recently, and we have grave respect for his actions before Dane travelled to become king under the mountain, and as a hero of the Battle of Anzal Tabur, which I've just mispronounced, I'm fairly certain, and indeed as a companion of Thorin in the recovery of the mountain. He is an example to us all. But recently, in recent times, he has been part of the problem for dwarven kind, reaching out to the other races, treating them as if we owe them something, and allowing such frippery of the dwarves in Dale, and such diversion of resources from traditional dwarven pursuits, all for what? So, whilst we are gravely saddened by his passing, and it would have been more fitting if he had had opportunity to make redress for his more recent actions. Let us be clear about this. As it stands, in the last few years, he did not help the race of Durin, and he helped the race of man, and he allowed the traditions that should have been observed in the forges of Erebor to become weakened and whittled. I can see that you are in place as a right-thinking leader, but in this I think you are mistaken.
Shit. These guys have got some pretty strong views.
They did it. Kill them.
Even for Torg. Wow, these guys are extreme. Okay. So, all right.
I can see from your face that this news, these ideas have shocked you.
I think Torg wants to kind of play along here. I think he likes a little bit of theatrics, so he's gonna have a go.
So let's have maybe a riddle roll, I guess, to kind of like to keep it.
I'm on board with that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So all right.
What's Loftar's response to having heard that?
I'm just keeping a straight face. For me, it's kind of, Balin's died. Still, whatever your views are, man should be respected. Sorry, a dwarf should be respected, and I'm hearing what they're saying, but I'm just a bit like,
Fight the
I'm not
power.
saying anything. I'm just waiting for what the conversation.
Okay.
I'm just waiting for an opportunity later. Perhaps if I need to step in, I'll just step in. But at the moment, I'm just sort of standing my ground.
Yeah. Okay. And they're not really paying massive attention to you, though. So they've marked you down as the brawn rather than the brains, frankly.
Okay, so I rolled a 10, and I think I'm going to have to spend a point of hope to get that up to 14, which is not amazing, but it's that's the best I can do. So I'll spend a point of hope and then recover it with fellowship points, which leaves us with 2.
Yep. So let me just get some dice out, actually, and just I should have possibly got dice out before we started, but you know how it is.
I thought you were taking some pills. That's what it sounds like. Let me just take some pills to deal with this shit.
These guys need to take the
Take a
chill
bunch
pill.
of these. Do you, yeah, shall I RP how Torg handles that?
Yes, please, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so so the Lord Balin was had spent a lot of time in Dale among men in his latter years since the great quest of Erebor.
It weakened.
You think he was acting against the dwarves then at times?
No, not willingly.
But he weakened our position in Dale. Is that what you're getting at? I can see how that might be the case.
They're kind of like calmed down slightly with the passage of time and a little bit of more sensible chat. We should not. Dale exists because Erebor exists. It is Erebor that is the provider to Dale. We shouldn't be here chasing their gold that we gave them to rebuild this kingdom, that was taken by Smaug from our own coffers in the first place. And here we are, letting children out of the forge, ignoring all of the traditions that made us who we are. We are losing skills all the time. And as much as Dane is favoured to us and close to our hearts, and we will not ever say it is the king that is the root of these challenges, it must then be his advisors and those who are enacting his will against what he would truly want there to be. And that is our real problem with Balin. We must honour everything that he achieved, as you say, in the Great Quest of Erebor. But since then, we cannot but see that he has allowed these toy makers to take the most precious of metals, quicksilver, the mithril. We cannot work what should be made from that because it is all coming here, because they have the gold to buy it. It should not be used like that, monopolising the precious gems for trinkets that get sold to men. There is nothing that they produce that can be used in honest work. And they do not need their forges to burn so long and so hot, as is the tradition of our kind. The great forges of Erebor put to no great use because of this travesty. Their arms do not need to be so strong. Their minds do not need to be so determined. They use these strange, pernickety little tools, and they turn the heads of our children away from the production of honest tool work and the traditional purpose of dwarven smithing. And you can see the anger starting to rise, and his companion puts his arm on his shoulder and he calms down a little again. The fire.
Yeah, we're back onto the single
forges,
issue, aren't we?
The fire of our forges burn in our hearts as well as in the Iron Hills. And I am sad to say that a number of formerly stalwart companions of Thorin have weakened. Perhaps the dragon's love of gold has got too tight into them too, and they are willing to trade away our heritage and our history to men.
So the dragon sicknesses.
It would not be the will of the king, and we, as righteous followers of King Dane, may need to take action against his vexatious servants.
And
But we would not ever condone the murder of one such as Balin.
oh, okay. I was just going to ask if you said take action again, but I was wondering how far you might be prepared to go, because
No, that would be dishonourable. Entirely dishonourable.
Maiming and property damage only.
So let me just ask, sort of, anything you can help us in our investigation into Balin's murder? Anything you want to share? Obviously, you've traded with this city a while.
There is naught that we know of his murder. It shames us that he was killed in the darkness of a street in Dale.
Okay.
yeah, I don't know what more we can get out of these guys right now. I think we get the gist of what they're after and what what motivates them.
Single issue.
Yeah.
No,
Justice for the miners.
It's deep and faceted around one issue.
I should have named one Arthur and the other Scargill.
I want to try a little consolation though on my part. So we're going to go, but if we meet up soon again, we're staying at, I'm sorry, I forgot the name, but we're staying at
The
this
Golden
pub.
Chief.
Let us buy you, Golden Chief. Let us buy you some ales for the Raystar ale for Iron Hills. Talk some stories. We may not disagree on everything, but it will be nice to talk to fellow dwarves from Far East. So I hope you travel safely. But yeah, come and visit us. Have an ale with us.
We may well do that. You have the look of Smiths about you.
Aye.
You should
I was trained in the Smiths. Johnny was my favourite.
I knew I was not.
Vegetarians with over-opinionated books.
I was going to avoid any jokes about the Smiths. I was there. I was about to say something about I can tell from your
Whiff.
your quiff and
As soon as I found out Balin's dead, heaven knows I'm miserable now.
we shall come to the Golden Chief, and we shall drink one, and it shall become four, and then we shall fall on the floor and drink more. Stop me! You think I've heard this one before? You are a charming man.
Enough.
But Loftar, it was really nothing. I am a big fan of the Smiths. I used to be until I decided that Morrissey is a tosser. Anyway, sorry, I tried to avoid offending anybody. We shall take this up. Our advice to you is not to travel with one so craven. It does not do you justice to have him about you and his whining opinions in your ears. Cast him adrift.
Who? Cirque.
Aye, if that is his name. But we are needed elsewhere.
Oh, he's just.
I've got whining opinions.
He has his special ways.
And they kind of like nod a little bit more deferentially towards you than you perhaps expected. And off they go.
Okay. I bid them farewell. Yeah.
Can't wait for
interesting.
that.
That was an interesting encounter. That's not what I expected from them. These guys feel like they're part of some kind of movement.
Mm. Yeah, we get them a lot.
Did you look if they had any obvious badges on them? Like above their kind of like nuclear disarmament, below their kind of veganism forever or whatever, they'd have some sort of badge.
I don't think they were the kind of dwarves that were looking for multilateral disarmament at all.
No. I guess I have to admit some of my brethren from the Far East do like to have a little, or maybe a medium-sized chip on their shoulder. We're very lovable dwarves.
Okay.
If you buy us lots of ales.
Well,
regroup a little bit back to where Cirque is.
Yeah.
The kind of toy maker has pretty much packed up his stuff and is about to be heading off. And you kind of hear "Gah! Gah!" and there's a raven perched on a nearby ledge where an alley goes east from the square towards Red Row.
Hang on a minute.
Gah! Gah!
you speak Raven, Loftar.
Almost, yes. I have extensive experience, but this one looks familiar.
Flaps up, lands on a statue of a woman carrying wheat in a basket a little bit further down the alley.
Ah, there we go.
Okay.
I got my magnifying glass out.
Let's follow it.
My magnifying
I mean,
glass.
it led us to Balin last time.
Loftar's there with his Raven Stalker hat on.
That's it.
And the raven
His
flies
Raven phrase book.
straight over this raving phrase book, straight over Snapfire Alley. Comes to rest at the top of a small building in the northern portion of the old quarter. And the small door opens on the front side of the building, and a crack opens, and a hand comes out and beckons you inside.
I feel brave. I'm going to have a look inside.
Well met again, says Balin, son of Fundin.
What?
Let's take a quick break there, if you don't mind, guys.
Okay. Cliffhanger.
Dun, dun,
anyone?
dun, for the second time.
News of his death was greatly exaggerated.
Yeah, that's right. That's the end of episode 9. On that cliffhanger, we'll get episode 10 up pretty soon. That's the second half of this same session. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you for any comments you make. If you enjoyed the channel, subscribe and like, I guess is what YouTubers say. But yeah, if you're into it, then why not follow the content? Let other people who you think might be interested know as well. That would be cool. Thank you very much. Bye.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Right, quick, everyone go change t-shirts now.
Yeah, that's right. This is the bit that I always find just ever so slightly freaky, if I'm entirely honest. There we go.
I've got one ready. I was just folding clothes earlier, so I can just...
Okay, good work.